Welcome, I'm Robert Adams of Creative Coaching, Creative Cultures. So, consultancy, I'm often asked, what does that really mean? You know, when you say you're a consultant, what do you actually do? What is it? So let's look at that then. If we think about consultancy, let's imagine it as a continuum. So we look at it from the point of view of consultancy at this end of the continuum, consultancy over here. We might think at the other end we've got coaching. And then somewhere in the middle you may have what's called mentoring. Now if we think about that in relation to you, the client, then you're central to this. Okay. However, we're on a continuum and we've got what's really known as the client input continuum. Okay. From a consultancy perspective, there's a high level of input from the consultant. The consultant is usually seen as the expert. Okay, so let's think about expert. And that you would think goes over to include your mentor. Okay. Now in the coaching side, coaching usually sees the client as the expert. Okay. So they're the expert. That puts us in a position where we've got two different scenarios. We've got a scenario where the client doesn't know what's going on. They don't know what the problem is. They know there is a problem, but they don't know how to get to the nub of it. They really don't know. And if they don't know, then they need somebody to guide them, somebody to help them. However, you've got another situation where clients do know, but might not recognise that they know. And in which case, you're going to be looking for coaching to draw out that knowledge base. And then you've got somewhere in the middle where you've got a mentor who is the expert but is actually building the expertise of the client base that already has some but maybe not enough. And so a consultant is going to come in and specifically do something that the client themselves can't do. Now if we take a particular scenario from that, let's look at that from the point of view of, say, a quality perspective. So if we think about that from a quality perspective, sometimes in the business things go wrong, or maybe in yourself, in your own personal life, things go wrong. And what you're trying to do is build up a level of balance and a level of success. How do you do those if you don't know where all the aspects within your life or all the aspects in your business are, working and when they're not? A favoured way of doing that within, a consultancy framework, if you like, is what we call the progress wheel. And if you think about a wheel with different aspects to it, that's your progress wheel. And what you would usually do in a quality perspective is think, what are all the important aspects to you individually, or if we're talking about business context, what are the important aspects to your business? And you would give each of these elements, the name, whatever the name might happen to be within your context. Okay? If we think about that, within a context of, say, an educational business, then one aspect might be teaching, learning, assessment. Another aspect might be the budget. Another aspect might be your level of satisfaction. Another aspect might be something to do with success rates, making sure that their outcomes are there. So each will have a relevant measure. So you're going to identify a measure. And then what you're going to do is set yourself specific stages when you're going to measure these things, invariably on a daily basis, a monthly basis, or it might be a weekly basis. whichever way around, you will then say that aspect we know sits there. This aspect sits there. And this aspect may sit away up there. And what that does is it gives you a measure of where you are, but also a measure of where to focus. So we know at the moment, this is your focus. You know, if that was, say, the budget, then you would be thinking, well, are we underspent, overspent? What are we looking at here? What's the actions that we need to do against this to improve that aspect? You may find by doing that over the months, you build up, you get all that sorted, but as a consequence, you've lost the focus here, so this may actually move backwards. And so the next focus might shift to there. And it's a very systematic way of working through the different aspects in your organisation that are important to you, and therefore how you can make systematic improvements. Thank you.